Hello again. As promised, I have made a video about revision and kind of what the revision process looks like. This video is actually going to be applicable to all of my English courses because the process of revision for essay number one is very similar across all of my classes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down into 3 steps. I'm going to go through each of those steps one at a time, but I'm actually going to go through it through the PowerPoint with you. The PowerPoint has actually already been added to Canvas in the module for Unit 1. You'll see it right above the submission for essay number 1. It'll say something like how to revise English 101 or English 103 or whatever class you are currently enrolled in. And so I want to go through what those 3 steps are. So let's go through this PowerPoint together. I am going to be doing some voiceovers and pausing where I think there's very important information that we should pay attention to. That way we can all kind of do the best work that we can in the allotted time that we have. This is the PowerPoint that you have available to you on Canvas. This is located in the module right at the end. It's also located in Files. We're going to take a step-by-step look at revision. First, we're going to start with informational types of revision. Then we're going to move on to organizational and then grammatical and mechanical. Informational answers a few questions. Have I answered the prompt? Do I have all of the necessary information to provide background and context for my reader, or do I need to add something? Is all of this information useful? Can anything be removed? These are really good questions to ask yourself right here at the end. Sometimes we have information in our essay that doesn't necessarily need to be there. Sometimes we are also missing information in our essay. Organizational. This asks you, is this order of information the best possible order? Can I rearrange my ideas to be more effective or clearer for my reader? And lastly, we have grammatical and mechanical. Grammar refers to things like verb tense, word order, word form, subject verb, missing word, etc. Mechanical refers to punctuation, comma splice, run-on, etc. Let's start with informational. Introduction. Is it missing any contextual information for the reader? Context, again, you guys know that's my favorite word, is any necessary information to make sense of the essay, including the author's name, article title, and brief summary. As this applies to all of my English classes because you are all writing rhetorical analysis, which means that you should all have this general information in your introduction. Did I capture the audience? You could do this through surprising facts, shocking data, metaphors, anything that could entice the reader to keep on reading. So your background and context together. What is the author arguing? Your audience needs to be caught up on any necessary information to make sense of the essay. This is also what we call filling the gap of knowledge. You might want to ask yourself, did I state my main claim? The author or the article is effective or ineffective in their attempt to persuade the audience of their argument. The reason I have this in parentheses here is because you're all going to be analyzing a different type of argument. So each attempt at an argument is going to be different for each student. Again, you should all be using at least 2 or more assessments. If you're in my English 101 class, they are called assessments. If you are in my English 103 class, they are called key devices. So English 103 students, your main claim, the text is or is not effective, plus the author's goal, plus at least 2 key devices from chapter 6, English 101, main claim, the text is or is not effective, plus the author's goal, and at least 2 assessments. Here are some example thesis statements for an English 101 rhetorical analysis essay. Example number 1 reads, using ethos and pathos, the author effectively argued that textbook prices should be expensive. So here we see the word ethos, we see the word pathos, and we see the word effectively. This helps us understand that the author was in fact effective using ethos and pathos. Example number 2. The author used either or and hasty generalization fallacies in their writing, making their argument that textbooks should be expensive, ineffective, and invalid. So here we see that the author used fallacies in their writing, which turned into an ineffective and invalid argument. English 103 students, here are some examples of thesis statements for a rhetorical analysis essay. Example number 1. The author overuses pathos and lacks logos in their attempt to convince their readers that healthcare should be tethered to employment in the United States, rendering their argument ineffective. So here we see overuses pathos, lacks logos, which turned into an ineffective argument. Example number 2. The author's use of pathos exemplifies overly sentimental writing, resulting in an ineffective argument. While attempting to connect, they manipulate the reader's emotions, turning to fallacies like ad hominem and appeals to fear. So here we have exemplifies overly sentimental writing, which we know is a negative thing. We see that it resulted in an ineffective argument. They continue and they tell us that they manipulated the reader's emotions, turning to fallacies like ad hominem and appeals to fear. Body. Does the body include sufficient evidence to support the thesis? Whether you use 2 or 5 devices for your analysis, make sure to use contextually clear examples followed up by meaningful commentary. Again, this is what we call a quote sandwich. This helps the audience experience the work with you. We need context to understand why the evidence is there. Conclusion. Does the conclusion tie up any loose ends for the reader? Always circle back to your main point without just restating the thesis. Provide your interpretation of information, also called your insight, contains some type of final epiphany or calls the reader to some kind of action. For example, how to use this information to help educate others. Some writing tips. Each sentence or paragraph should be well developed and meaningful. It should serve a purpose. Expands on points, creates context, provides supportive evidence, clarifies ideas, provides audience with all necessary information to make sense of the analysis. All quotes and paraphrases should be followed up with commentary, again, quote sandwiching. Lastly, shorter paragraphs, 8 to 10 sentences, roughly, some are 7 sentences, that's fine, each serving a purpose are more effective than 5 super long paragraphs across 4 to 6 pages. Organizational revision. This refers to sources, arrangement, context, and MLA. Number 1, how are the quotes paraphrases organized? Is there a form of quote sandwiching? Remember, this PowerPoint is available to you. Arrangement. Can the ideas be rearranged to be more effective or clearer for my reader? Context. Is the context provided in the appropriate places? MLA. Is everything in proper MLA? The MLA PowerPoint is also up for you. Check your MLA citation guides. Make sure to check your MLA citation guides to help with citations. If you forgot what that was, that is the paper handed out in class that has page numbers to refer to different types of citations in your textbooks. You can also utilize online resources such as OWL Purdue, which is listed right here. If you need the link, it is here. You can click the link in the actual PowerPoint posted to Canvas. Number 3, grammatical and mechanical. Grammar, verb tense, word order, word form, subject verb, missing word, fragment, etc. Mechanical refers to things like punctuation, comma splices, run-ons, misplaced commas, misused semicolons. This PowerPoint for grammar has been added to all courses, and you can find it right on top of the final submission for essay number 1.